Carson's going last, so
Okay.
you want to kind of watch it late, towards the end. I just was out making fun.
What time is it? I gotta read my homework. Yeah, you were right about it. And then you got it in. Thanks again for all. Thanks for coming. I just really know you guys are all busy people. Totally good.
Oh, thank you.
No, actually, I think it was. This who else was there? Yeah. What's it? Yeah, it's good. It's going to be interesting with Trump in there. I think, yeah, it's like a lot of the fence sitters all of a sudden are getting interested. Yeah. Oh, it's good. How do you think? I love it. Some of the regulators, some of the meetings starts in Texas, huge market. There's a lot of stuff coming in Chicago all of a sudden. It's awesome. Yeah. You've been expanding too, haven't you? In Orlando. The Nashville ones, when I heard about, that's exciting. It just seems like there's a lot of opportunity there. It sounds like it would make sense for people to retire there now, which I wasn't aware of.
And you're getting a lot of
Why is it going to take 6 months just to get
Well, we're still building out Orlando. So although we have a physical facility, we have sells well, no. In Chicago, you have it's their largest airport in the country. You got corporate travel, big business downtown. Orlando doesn't have a big, it's more tourism. So a lot of our customers in Chicago are younger than my kids.
Hello, I'm Hannah Brusky. Nice to meet you. Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you.
All right, guys, can we stand for prayer? I know everyone's already standing. So all right, Jackson, you got this one.
Okay, any attentions?
A situation.
Yes.
All of the groups today.
All right, Alex, my uncle, glory be to the Father.
The Son, to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
All right. So guys, I'm going to have you just sit at your regular tables while the presentations are coming out, and obviously switch. Just be careful of the extra wires.
Why does you say that?
If you guys want to sit, that would be great. I got some. This is just a microphone in here, so. All right. Okay. So you just have to turn on this one. Where is my thing? It's connected to this one. Yeah.
Where are the things?
This,
Yeah, let's
this
hand me
wire
out.
right here. This wire right here. There's a microphone there. So just okay. Watch Mr. Franklin because he's going to talk. Oh, okay. Should I come on this? I mean, let's save side. Allison, yeah, I can further. I should be in the middle. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, pass them Okay, does this work? Okay.
Where's Callie?
I like to move this
Okay.
$747 billion. That's the amount of debt, credit card debt, U.S. consumers today have. Hi, I'm Talia Slawinski,
I'm Allison Belmont.
I'm Liz Schuler.
And I'm Caitlin Vogel.
and we're Curo. Curo means to manage in Latin, which is perfect because our company's goal is to help teens manage their savings. Now, we came up with the idea because we were all talking about our frivolous spending habits, and we really wanted to figure out a way to improve that. So we came up with Curo.
Okay, so this is our business model canvas. It basically just goes over the key metrics of our company. We want parents to be the first adopters of this product because they're going to be the ones that are going to want their teens to be learning about finances. But I mainly just want to turn your attention to our unique value proposition, which states teaching young adults the value of money and importance of saving to create successful financial foundations for the future. Now, this is basically our mission. We want teens to not just be using this app and not thinking about what they're doing. We want them to be learning from it for the future.
Our main goal is simplicity. That's why, for the layout of our app, we chose to take popular apps that kids and teens use today, like Pinterest and Instagram, to pull our layout inspiration from them. The basics of the app will have different components, and you'll be able to set percentage for each deposit that a child will get. This is trying to teach teens how to budget their money. So if they get a paycheck and it's $100 and they set 30% to their wish list section, then $30 would go there immediately. There are also sections like total acquired savings, which will be attached to a savings account that they're not allowed to pull out of. This will increase savings completely because they won't be able to draw their money. It won't just be saying they're saving, they're actually saving. Then of course there's a bank record for all deposits, transactions, and withdrawals. And then there's also going to be separate add-ons that is customizable for the teen. An example, like gas money.
Like Allison has said, we're going to connect our app to the bank accounts. Now, how we're going to do that is through a company called Plaid. This is where we're going to start. Plaid is a software that you can download, and it connects your bank account to our app. So it has the security backed on it, and major apps like stock marketing apps use this. it will allow us to have instant updates on how much money you're having in your bank account, and we're going to attach 2 bank accounts to our app. The first one is going to be the bank account that teens are depositing and withdrawing out of. So a lot of teens have debit cards, and that would be the account that we're connecting. And then the other account is going to be the teen saving account. Now, most teens have saving accounts, but they're not able to draw out of it. And that's why we're putting it onto the bank account, onto our app itself, because it will show the teens how much money they have in savings, which is almost like an incentive to save more. Because currently what we found is a lot of teens aren't putting money away in their savings account because they don't know how much money they actually have. So the teens will be able to watch their money in their savings account grow.
Okay, so Wishlist is our big drawing feature for the teens. We want to have it set up kind of like a Pinterest board where you can search different items like a purse or a pair of shoes, and then you can have that list, but as a beginner user, we just want you to start off setting 1% to one item. So when your paycheck comes in, the percentage that you set will go into that item, and it'll gradually grow over until it hits 100%. When you hit 100%, you're going to be getting a notification saying that you can go and get that product. Once you graduate from that beginner phase, you can move on to setting multiple percentages to multiple items.
To intrigue customers and create a large database of our customers, we want our app to be free. But how will we make money? We've thought of 3 different steps that's going to increase our revenue. The first one is the integration of having sponsored Curo-approved banks. This is how our main competitor, Mint, makes their money. So if a child wants to open a special savings account or another checking account, there will be Curo-approved banks. The second and third options are about the wishlist section. Now, like Google, when a certain company advertises with them, their product, their company pops up first. Ours would work similar to that. When, say, a kid is searching for shoes, gym shoes in particular, and Nike choose to advertise with us, Nike gym shoes would be the first thing that would pop up. Incorporating this idea is our third stream of revenue. Due to the direct connection between our users, the product, the company, and their timeline savings of when they're going to fully be able to purchase that, we have analytics that no other company has. Typical wish lists, say the Amazon wish list, has a list of interests that the consumer will want. And they show you and they advertise on Facebook and things like that. But what they don't know is when they'll actually be able to purchase it. We're going to be able to leverage these analytics with vendors so that they can make better and more accurate sales projections.
And next we have our website. So our website was completely made by us. Okay, so our website was completely made by us, and it's just like another way to connect with our users. So it first draws in like our basics of what our app is going to look like, and then as you scroll down, it pinpoints different features that we have, which is the customizable aspect, the user-friendly education, and then also security. So it's kind of just another way for us to get our name out there and then also be able to give updates about our process and our company itself.
Okay, so education is a very big aspect of our company. We want our users to be learning from it. So we want to focus on this being an educational tool that teaches teens about savings, creating realistic goals, and then creating budgets to achieve those goals. Now, we just want to start off with, throughout weeks, they can get notifications that pop up with quick tips and tricks on budgeting and saving money, but then we also want to go into maybe video posts that go into a certain lesson of finances that will teach the users a lot more than they could get just from those little notifications. We also are we're toying around with the idea of having a reward system called badges. So if you get a badge, it means that you're keeping up with your savings and you're using these educational tools that we're providing you. So if you get enough badges, you can get an add-on, which would usually cost money, but if you get the badges, it would be free.
All right, so social media. Basically, we try to reach out to our clientele on 3 social media platforms: our website, Twitter, and Facebook. We use Facebook because it's more of like a parent social media, and we really want to reach out to those parents and let them know about our app. Our website is more in-detail features about our app, tells you more like the specifics of it, and certain things like the release date and such. Twitter is more of like the teen kind of aspect, and we're trying to like post little things that encourages saving, not spending, knowing the right time when to spend, and things like that.
So next we have our TAM and SAM. So like Allison had said, we kind of have a few different ways of possibly getting money and getting a revenue. And so first, let me get to our TAM. So first we have our TAM. And so we decided that our overall, overarching possible consumers are going to be teens with computer access. Now the reason we did this is because teens with computer access in the future, if we would like to create some type of web-based program for them, we have that opportunity. So we have the total number of teenagers and then the percentage who actually have computer access. And then for our frequency of purchase, what we're currently putting in for our TAM and SAM is if they're wanting add-ons. Now this is another aspect of our app and another revenue stream we're looking into. Add-ons can be as simple as when they go into college, if they want to get an add-on for student loans to help them balance their student loans and payoffs and those type of things. So we're thinking about the idea of having an add-on be $1 to $2, and so we're saying that if each user buys 1 to 2 add-ons, we'll get about $2 per user. And then our SAM is more zoned in on teens with smartphones because this is our actual market currently. So our app is obviously going to be compatible with smartphones, and so these are the number of teens who have smartphones who can download our app and use it on their smartphone on a day-to-day basis.
So for the future, we would really like to work on this add-on feature as a stream of revenue. So one of the things we want to work on is student loans for kids who are in college. Now, we also want to work on a system for kids for when they graduate college, that they could transfer all their account data to another kind of like system, but we don't want to incorporate that exactly in the Curo app, specifically because we want to target this towards teens.
Like she said, we want to appeal, so we don't want to lose our customers. So in the future, we're looking to create a program called Curo Elite, and it would be for kids once they're not kids anymore and they're adults, and they're now financially stable adults, as our tagline is.
And now for our MVP inquiry. So we're looking for a $100 investment to get Apple Developer. Now the reason Apple Developer is crucial for us is because Apple itself, the number of teens with phones, 67% of them have iPhones. And then incorporated in that, that's an increase from the last 6 months, a whole percentage. So Apple iPhones and the teens using those are constantly increasing. Now, in order to get an app on the App Store, you have to have an Apple Developer account. And this allows you to code the app, do bug tests through Apple Developer, beta tests, which pretty much means you'll be able to test your app before you publish it, so you can have local phones testing it, and then you can also send your app out for testing in the Apple Developer community, so other developers can use it. This is also great for us because it does include some, I guess you could say, luxuries. So if we wanted to do in-app purchases, this would allow us to do so through this app, Apple Developer. So thank you guys for listening, and now we're open for any questions you guys may have.
Can you go back to the assumptions you made on the market size?
Yeah.
Real quick? Were those, so you show assumption 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yes.
What were those specific? So there's the number of teens with smartphones is
Yes.
14.9 million?
So the first one is the total number of buyers, which is calculated through our SAM. So up here, the total number of buyers, that's the total US
Right.
teenagers, and then that's cut down by the total number of computer access, and then that gets you the total number of consumers from that.
But what, when you say, so 93% teens with computer access, then 87%, so what are each of
So
those
all of
numbers?
these statistics are taken from different websites, like government-based websites and censuses. So this is the number of percentage teenagers, or percent of teenagers who have computer access. And the reason there's multiple different ones is because different when we were doing research, different census have different percentages of how many actually have access.
You may want to source that,
Yeah.
next to each.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
The description was a little confusing, and I noticed the same thing. So is that 14.9, is that an average of those four
Yes.
percentages
Yes.
above it? Okay.
And then our SAM is even smaller than that because it's the percentages of those teens who have smartphones.
So I have, first of all, awesome presentation. All of you
Thank
guys.
you. Yeah.
And your website's really cool. You guys developed it yourself?
Yeah, I coded it, so we're
That's
constantly changing it.
Yeah, really nice. I also like the idea of, I think it's called badges. Is that
Yeah.
like a rewards program
Yeah.
kind of thing? Okay. So now I'm gonna ask you a question, a baseline question. May not be super easy to answer, but how is Curo different than budgeting with pen and paper, Excel, or any other probably budget apps that are out there?
Well, the whole thing that we were trying to go for was to make the app simple and easy for teens specifically to use, so teens will want to budget in a way. They'll want to save up for this item that they've been looking at, and then the parents can also like monitor it. So it's a good way to like attract both parties.
Yeah, we just want to make it as user friendly as possible,
Mhm.
especially for teens, because I know that I don't fully understand like some of the pen and paper stuff that usual adults do. So I feel like having it more user friendly.
This is a pen, this is paper.
Yeah.
I know. Because I used to that, I realized.
So, hey guys, nice job. You guys obviously identified a problem, and I'm here to tell you it is a problem. I have two sons in college and one's a senior right now in high school. And teenagers typically just don't know how to budget. They haven't been taught that, and you guys have obviously realized that it's an issue. So I think it's a great concept and a great idea. My question to you, and it kind of alludes to the badges thing again, is how are you going to really incentivize? The only way this is going to work is if the teens use it. You know, and if they use it, you're going to make money. I don't care, because you're going to be able to get advertising involved, and you're going to make a lot of money off the advertising through the app. That's how you're basically going to make your money, the way I see it. But how are you going to get them to use it? I mean, how are you really going to get them to use it? And like, these badges are cool, but what does that mean? I mean, are they going to get any money for that, or are they going to?
Well, I think one of our main components is that, first of all, we're going to appeal to parents. Like, a lot of kids in this room I know have trackers on their phones. Of course, we don't want those on there. It's a parent thing that they make their kids use and they make their kids have on their phone. So that's the first thing. And then also, with the badges, we're going to allow them, we're still focusing on that idea that's relatively new. We thought of that about 2 weeks ago, so we're like developing the process. But we also want to have informational videos that they'll be able to watch, and then they'll be incentivized by those badges, and they'll be able to get free add-ons and also coupons with the companies that decide to advertise with us.
Yeah, so badges are basically like goals, like you want to work towards something. So by keeping up with your savings and using our educational tools like our videos and our quick updates and things like that, they'll be wanting to reach those badges.
And it's going to be rewarding all on its own to have saved up for an item you've really wanted for a long time.
You have to see those badges becoming like cash back. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard like credit cards. If you use them at a certain gas station, you get a penny for every gallon of gas you buy. I mean,
Yeah.
eventually you see that maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely, and also currently what we're thinking about, like we already kind of talked about, but we want to kind of partner with companies to maybe get offers like free shipping when they do meet that mark, and so that's another way that they could exchange their badges for something that's not necessarily money right away, but you are saving money from it.
Who do you think benefits more? The kid that's trying to budget or the parent from this?
In the moment, the parent, I feel like, but in the long run, the child, because then they know how to save their money, especially, and like, they really see where their money's going too. So you can like really see how much money you're spending on going to the movies, going out for food with friends. Like, you're really going to be able to like get the reality of that, and I think that's going to help the kid in the future, and it helps the parent in the moment of them being a teenager.
So who's your target customer then?
The teens,
Is it?
the parents.
Our
Yeah, they're our first adopters.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where I think your focus should be, on getting to the parents, because the parents are the ones, and I know because I've got 2 kids that exceed budget all the time. And this is a great app. You did an awesome job of presenting it. I just think that you may need to sway your target customer from the kids with the iPhones to
to the parents.
Yeah, I agree with the guys. Very smooth presentation, well put together. You guys are very composed up there. But I wrote the first thing I wrote down was the early adopter strategy as well. It's going to be a challenge because I mean my thought is, well, you guys, the young people are usually the early adopters. So to get us old folks to be the early adopters, it's going to be a challenge. But I think incentivize. What's the reward for the parent? Maybe there's somehow tie that back in. Tie in with Amazon coupon or something like that. even us, that's how we're shopping.
You mentioned, was one of your competitors a main competitor, Mint? Or-
Yes.
Yes.
So, how is their offering different? How is yours better? How do you differentiate yourself? And are they the main competitor, or you just talk about how you're positioned versus your key competitor?
Yes, Mint is our main competitor because they are a budgeting app just like we are. But what they have is credit score, stocks, loans. And of course we want to branch off to student loans, but that's not our main focus at all in the beginning. And our whole aspect is that we want it to be simple. We want it to be easy to use because otherwise teens aren't going to use it. They're not going to take the 25 minutes to log in all of their information. We want it to be simple, quick to use, but also effective.
And part of the reason teens aren't using Mint is because of all those other aspects, such as credit score and loans and mortgage and things like that. Teens don't need that, so that's part of the reason they don't use Mint and why we would want them using Curo.
And also Mint is actually targeted towards kind of like that 20, 30-year-old. So after you're out of college, that's more where it's targeted towards, because you will have like home mortgages and you will have credit scores and those type of things. So we're kind of looking more towards the teens, and instead of just giving them a software and like an app for them to like budget on, we're focusing on teaching them how to budget. So in the future, they can kind of do it on their own and they won't need that step by step. But right now, I know for us, when we were looking into like financing and those type of things, we don't necessarily know, and lots of our peers don't know how to lay out a perfect budget. And so that's what our app is here to do, is to teach them how to get those skills and how to understand budgeting and those type of things and savings.
Well, I want to tell you, you're all so poised and confident, and you look beautiful. So I think you did a great presentation. I was curious as to how you came up with the idea.
Well, we were all kind of talking about how we have spending issues and sometimes we go out a little too many times for food. So we were toying around with the idea of figuring out a way so that we all could budget better and we all could have more money in our bank account to save for like clothes, things we want. And that's kind of how we thought of Curo. We figured an app would be a really good way to reach out to teens, and it would also be a good way to get parents to kind of force their teens to budget.
And then also this year and like the end of last year was when we all started getting jobs too, so we finally had our first paychecks, and that was just a whole nother like added stress into the thing. So you're like, oh, I have money, and then you wanted to spend it all. So we really wanted to figure out a system that would combat that issue.
It's a great idea.
Thank
I
you.
wish I had it when I was young.
The time you want to hit people up, the perfect time would be when you're going on a college visit, and you guys are juniors and we're, that's the time where we're all thinking about the transition and going, oh my God, they run out of money. And everybody, so that somehow getting into that time, that'd be a good time to launch your market maybe. So what do you need at that time? You need we're all staying in a hotel at that time, so maybe somehow tie it into a holiday Inn discount or something.
Dave brings up a good point. How about orientations, college orientations? At that point, you've got both the parent and the child there. Setting up booths at the orientation meetings is a great opportunity.
All right, one thing I didn't do, I like to have our sharks, if you will, like stand up, maybe introduce yourself, give us a little bit of background of who you are. I should have done that at the beginning, but kind of left into it. So, is that okay? You feel Gonna put you on the spot
Nobody
now.
said there'd be public speaking. Good afternoon, my name is Dan Colbert. My son Alex is a junior here. He's not in this class though, but I spent a lot of time around the school. I currently am the CEO for a company called Aircraft Propeller Service. We service aircraft propellers, as you would expect from the name. Before that, I worked for a private equity firm called the Riverside Company for 8 years as an operating partner. So I worked with companies that we had invested in to help the management teams put together and execute on their business plans, grow, and then hopefully sell them for more money than we bought them for. So happy to be here today and excited to hear more great presentations.
Hi, I'm Kathy Whiffler. I had a couple kids go through Carmel, but they're already gone, and I was in this was my homeroom in 1972. It was the typing room. So anyway, I'm an attorney, and I actually have had sort of an interesting professional career because I became an attorney, and then I started having my family, so I stayed home for a while. And then about 6 years ago, I started my own firm, and I'm doing okay. So it's a great career for women and men, of course, and I'm so happy to be here to see you all doing so well. We didn't have anything like this at Carmel at that time, and it's just so exciting. So good luck to everybody.
I'm going to be a disappointment after that. I'm from St. Alphonsus in Chicago. My name is Sal Milazzo. I'm the CEO of Signature Transportation Group in Chicago and now Orlando. We provide transportation services from sedans, SUVs, limousines, motor coaches, executive coaches for transportation to and from the airport, out on the town, or for corporate visits. I did have 2 children go through Carmel, Savannah and Brett Milazzo. Brett's playing baseball now in Minnesota for University of Minnesota Duluth, and my daughter just left Warner Brothers to start working with Chicago PD downtown. So she works on fire and PD and all the productions. But it's a pleasure to be here, and anything we can do to help you in the future, I'm more than willing to do that. Thank you.
Well, now I have the tough anthropology. My kids are not as accomplished as yours. Nobody plays baseball. Nobody's on a TV show. My name's Jeff Porter. I've got 3 kids. 2 have been through Carmel. Matthew he's 24 years old. He works at Wintrust Financial downtown right now. My son Lucas is 21. He's a junior at U of I. He's an engineer. So let me say that their grounding in education starting here at Carmel is an awesome launch pad into higher ed and into their college careers because they're both doing and have done pretty well. I also have a daughter here. She's a senior. She's on the senior slide, I can tell already. She'll be going to Illinois State in the fall, and her name is Sigourney. Some of you guys might know her. So I've been in the in the IT services business for a long time, information technology. First thing I'll admit is I'm not a developer, but I've been the guy kind of on the sales and marketing side for 20 or 25 years, generally in the healthcare space. And today we've got a small company right nearby here in Bannockburn. I'm one of the co-founders. We're a software as a service company, so we develop software that our customers tap into and can license. And our customers are healthcare providers like hospitals and doctors and physician groups, as well as colleges and universities. And what the software does is it helps patients in the healthcare setting or students in the college and university setting manage their payments online, mobile, and so forth. Now there's data and analytics underneath it that helps drive the right payment options to those students and patients, and that's kind of where the software comes in. So I'm happy to be here. This is cool. It's exciting to see because I've been in my own business for about 20 years now, and it's great to see you guys participating and not only taking this class, but doing these sorts of presentations. Let me tell you, the next 2 groups have a big act to follow because these guys were good. So thanks.
Hello, everybody. Paul Sanka. I have 3 children. As you heard earlier, 2 of them have gone through here. My oldest, Andrew, actually took this class. And I wasn't a shark when he was taking that class, but he did something very similar. And he's just finishing up at University of San Diego with an international business degree and then management minor. So kind of really spurred a lot of interest in business for him. So it's been a lot of fun for him, and it's kind of fun to be here to see kind of what he was going through with the class back then. And then Colin is a sophomore at Clemson, and Jacqueline's a senior right now here at Carmel. I'm an architect. I've been in business since the early '90s. For myself, I kind of do both residential and commercial. The commercial aspect of my business is a lot of fun from the business standpoint because a lot of times I'll get together with small startup companies that are in the incubation period trying to develop their buildings and what have you, and then I'll kind of get sucked into their businesses because I really kind of have to understand how their businesses operate to design a facility for them. So I get to really get in on the front door of a lot of these companies. Not all of them make it, some of them do. Some of them are still turned into big franchise companies. Like you'll see the sport clips where you go get your hair cut. You know, I'll do a lot of work with those guys, and that's grown into a huge franchise. It started out as a simple idea as this, you know, from the beginning. So the whole business aspect of things is a lot of fun to watch and see and develop and grow. So look forward to the next couple presentations, and if you have any questions, need any help, let us know.
So I'll be honest with you, I thought this was street scenes, so I wasn't really. My name's Dave Stupian, and I was a manufacturing engineer. That's what I got my degree in, and I went to work for Motorola for 10 years and learned all about electronics. And my goal was to lead that company, start my own, and kind of have 3 different sources of income. One is to represent world-class products and resell them back to huge companies like that. Number 2 is to do like custom engineering stuff, and number 3 was to have some of our own products. And it's taken about 18 years, but we've got there, and me and my partner have got it going pretty good. And it's hard to accomplish that goal, and seen a lot of folks try to do the same thing. It just takes a good old-fashioned hard work. So when I heard about this, and Brian invited me to come in, I was like, oh, this is perfect because it takes my engineering side and my business side and it just combines it. So I heard there's $500 for the winner, right? So let's make that 600, all right? Who's the keeper of the pot? Who's got the
Right here, right
Hello, my name is Jackson Tashinsky,
I'm Claire Queenan.
I'm Natalie Rutz.
I'm Lily Sykes.
And I'm Sydney Pilling.
and we are the Veto Team.
You're at a bonfire with your friends on a damp summer night. You're roasting marshmallows, you're telling stories, but every few seconds you keep getting bothered by these pesky mosquitoes. So you have to smother yourself in pungent, sticky mosquito spray. Now, as much as mosquitoes might bother us on a daily basis, they create a much bigger problem on a global basis. Every 30 seconds, one child dies from malaria. That means by the end of this presentation, 20 children like this little boy will be dead. In addition to malaria, the Zika virus has also become very prevalent in our world. The red on this map represents areas with the highest potential for the Zika virus to spread. The United States has a lot of red. Just in this past month alone, 4,930 cases of the Zika virus has come into the United States. So how do we fix this problem with mosquitoes? Today we introduce to you Veto.
So, what is Veto, you may ask? Veto is our unique at-home method that provides you with a method that is effective, easy, and odorless to infuse your clothes with mosquito repellent. By doing this, you're going to bypass this sticky, smelly bug spray that you have to normally reapply every few hours. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your chosen clothing items, then you're going to stick them in our garment safe bag. Then you're going to add one or however many you'd like of our permethrin-infused dryer sheets, which we're going to explain in a second. After putting the sheet in the bag, you're simply just going to shut the bag, then toss it in your dryer and turn it on. It really is that easy.
The chemical we have decided to use for our product is permethrin. Other chemicals such as DEET and essential oils and stuff have a strong smell. We have been testing with DEET in the past couple of months and have realized that it hasn't been working. Also, DEET is very, very, very stinky, and it's not something you want to put on your clothes or on friends. Permethrin, on the other hand, is odorless. When it is dry, it doesn't smell like anything, and no one would know you're wearing permethrin to begin with. Next, permethrin is also water soluble, meaning that when it is infused in your clothes and is dry, if you go out in the rain or if you want to wash your clothes again, the permethrin will still be on your clothes.
So why Veto? Veto, unlike our competitors, Veto is versatile. This means that you can increase and decrease the longevity of our product. Depending on how many dryer sheets, as Lily explained, you put in the product in the dryer, that will determine how long the product lasts. So say you put in one dryer sheet that has 0.5 concentration of permethrin. That's going to last you longer than if you put 4 sheets of 4 sheets in the dryer. One of our most direct competitors is Sawyer. Sawyer also uses permethrin, except they douse their clothes in permethrin. This allows them to be embedded for a minimum of 6 weeks, which removes the versatility of the product. Our product is also efficient. Because of the method we've decided to use of the dryer bag, you are able to choose which clothes you want to be embedded with permethrin, while also washing other clothes or drying other clothes on the outside. Timely. Since our system is at home, you can also, it's very simple and fast to just throw them in the dryer, and within the hour, they are embedded with permethrin. Another competitor we have is Insect Shield. At Insect Shield, you send your clothes off to be embedded with permethrin. However, this takes time and costs more money because the consumer has to send them away to a factory to be embedded with permethrin. And lastly, odorless. As Jackson explained, we are going to be embedding our clothes with permethrin. Permethrin is odorless, so it removes it will effectively repel mosquitoes it will effectively rid you of mosquitoes without the pungent and odor and sticky smell of other bug repellents.
So how do we know people even want to buy Veto? Well, we sent out a survey on an airline forum back in October. People around the U.S. took this survey. Out of the 106 responses, 78% of the people said that they would buy our product. Along with this survey, a former military personnel emailed us saying that he's excited, along with current military personnel, saying that they are excited to see what we will be doing with Veto.
So after discovering that we had a need, or at least a want for our product, we started asking questions like, okay, who is going to be buying our product and who are we going to make our product appeal to? So we chose the target market of men and women ages 25 to 40. Now, we picked a little bit bigger and more broad of a target market because we wanted our product to appeal to multiple different kinds of lifestyles. And what I mean by that is, for example, there might be a family or an individual with a very, very, very outdoors lifestyle who is on the spectrum. It's all the way on the end because they're out every single weekend. They're very, very passionate about being outside. They're heavily going to invest in Veto. And then on the other side of the spectrum, there's a family, kind of like me or my family, where we're not super outdoors. We're not outdoors every weekend going camping. But we're still going to benefit from Veto in the fact that we still go to soccer games and bonfires where we still are going to need a product like this. And because the inspiration from this product came from places like third world countries, like Africa and places like South America, where people are greatly affected by mosquitoes, one day when our company gets big enough, we hope to expand into reach so we can affect people who live in third world countries to really make a change.
The price we've decided for our product is between $10 and $12. We've decided to use this price because our surveys have showed that people would prefer this price to be in this range because it's not too expensive or not too cheaply made. The total available market for our product is approximately 208 million people. This is the amount of people who have bought mosquito repellent in the past year. Our sizable available market is approximately 1 million people. This is 5% of the 208 million we hope to reach. It's not aiming too high or going too low. It's pretty reasonable. And then our share of market is 500,000 people, in which that means we hope to have, out of the million people, 50% of the people actually buy our product.
So, how are we supposed to reach our customers? As of right now, we have both a Twitter and a Facebook, both just giving a quick kind of overview of what our product is and what we're about. They both have the link to our website, which is created by a handle called Wix, which gives pretty much of all the information that we've already addressed in this PowerPoint presentation, including what we are as an incubator class, what we plan on doing, what permethrin is, how our product works. In the future, when we have a physical product to sell, we plan on selling it through our website just to make it more convenient for our customers, and we also hope one day to be in retail stores like Dick's Sporting Goods, and Bass Pro Shop, and even places like Target, just to make it more convenient for our customers.
One thing I forgot to add about permethrin, because it is odorless, it is hard to tell whether or not the transfer from the dryer sheet to the clothes actually works. In the past couple of weeks, we've been meeting with the science teachers out here at Carmel and have come up with a testing process to tell whether or not permethrin is present on the clothes. We have more information regarding the testing process if you would like it.
So where do you come in? Today we are asking for 3 fundamental things to continue funding our product. First, we are asking for $30 for supplies and materials to continue testing and funding our prototype. Next, we are asking for $41 to begin investing in developing a patent. And lastly, we are asking for $54 for our domain and website. We would like to purchase a $12 a year domain from Google, and with the remaining $42, we would like to purchase a 3-month subscription from Wix, our website creator. With this 3-month subscription, we will be able to remove the Wix ads, connect our domain, and purchase ads on places such as Google AdWords and other various domains. So in total, we are asking for $125.
So, you're back at that bonfire, you're still roasting marshmallows and telling stories, but this time you're wearing the Veto product, and you don't have to worry about those pesky mosquitoes constantly biting you. So today we ask that you join us to Veto the Mosquito. Thank you.
The first big question, great job. It's clearly a problem. The first question that came to mind when you first started was, I've never heard of permethrin before. How long has it been around?
I mean, I'm assuming a long time. I don't know.
Have they been using this to treat
Yeah.
mosquito problems before?
As of now, we're using, this is Sawyer's actual product, but we've been using this to test to see whether or not it's going to work to begin with. In the future, we hope to get our own and not have to use Sawyer, because we probably can't do that.
So what kind of studies, you guys didn't talk about, but that would be important to me because you hear about it with mosquito repellents all the time, is the safety aspect of it. Maybe did a little bit and I didn't catch it, but how do we know that that's safe to be on my skin, if I put it on my clothes?
As of right now, it's not safe to touch, but we're talking to the science teachers to find a way to transfer from the sheet into the dryer. And once it's dry, it's totally safe. It's just right now we're addressing the problem of getting the sheet that's wet into the dryer without actually touching it.
So when
we're
it's
still
a
addressing
liquid
that.
format, it's not good.
It's not very safe when it's liquid format, but once it's dry, it's perfectly safe.
Yeah, in the bottle, that bottle itself, it's dangerous to touch, but once it will be on our clothes, it will be safe for us.
So we're still addressing a way with the teachers to find a specific way to get it from
Transfers from the sheets to the clothes.
Not that
It has to
we're doing
dry
that.
on the clothes.
It'll be,
Right,
the
it's-
transfer is not the issue, it's just when you would take the sheet and fold the sheet and put it in your dryer, so we would have to come up with a method so you wouldn't have to touch the sheet or touch the wet sheet. It would
And
have to
even after you have your clothes on, if it rains or something, it's not going to hurt you. It's not, once it's dried on the clothes, and it's there, and it's not going anywhere,
It
and
won't
it's
be
not going to hurt you.
reactivated once it gets
Yeah.
wet again. It won't become the.
What's the toxic aspect of it? What's it do if I touch it? What does it say?
It's just bad for your skin, and it causes irritation, and it's just when it's in its solid form itself. But the good thing about permethrin in the dryer is that the heat actually prolongs the chemical. So say you throw a sheet in with a couple shirts and you want to reactivate the permethrin. You don't have to put another sheet in. You can just throw the shirt in the dryer and it will reactivate the permethrin inside of it.
So it'll last long.
One of the things I really like about your idea, something I've found in my life is I've tried to like create and invent like brand new stuff, and most of those don't work. But if I take something else that's out there and just improve upon it and make it twice as good, it's just a home run. And when you have the market, everybody knows, nobody wants to get hit by a mosquito. I've never heard of that stuff, but like Paul, I've never heard of that. And you know, if it's doing well, because you really present how much sales they're doing, and I mean, what I really want to know is, does it work? You know, I want to hear those testimonials. So if you found a better way to deliver something that's working right now, I mean, I've done real well with that kind of stuff. So I'd like to hear more, going forward, hear more about how it works and how the other guys are doing it. 'Cause I've never heard of it.
Yeah, we have a competitor called Insect Shield, is what we mentioned, and this company essentially does the same thing, but it costs like $70. You ship your clothes into the factory, and they do it for you, and it takes a couple weeks for them to send it back with the permethrin inside of your clothes, and then it's up to like 60 washes. But with ours, it's easier. You can do it at home, and it's just like a dryer sheet that you can throw in.
Oh, that's how they're doing it. Yeah, I don't dig that at all.
Yeah.
I once got one of his shirts back from the dry cleaner. It sank on him. Wow.
Yeah, permethrin is also, a lot of like campers and outdoorsy people use it on tents and sleeping bags. So it's good to like stick to material.
Well, one of the other problems, like Jackson mentioned, we tried DEET in the beginning, and we were running into a lot of problems with DEET because it's odorless, and it also
It has an odor.
It has it has an odor, and it doesn't work in the dryer because it's not water soluble, and so it won't transfer very well, and it also doesn't work on tents and stuff because it melts the synthetics. So permethrin would work really well on the tents, and it would work really well to transfer to that.
So my question on permethrin is more on the financial side. Is that a available product to use without any strings attached? I mean, do you guys have to pay any sort of licensing or royalty, or? They've got a patent on that bottle of stuff, right?
Yeah, for right now, we're just using it to see like the statistics, if it's gonna work or not.
So let's assume it works. Let's assume you overcome this issue of touching the stuff without your fingers melting off. Is there, I mean, have you thought about that? I mean, because companies, you know, kind of to Dave's point, Apple Computer made a biggest company in the world on this business model, improving on what Microsoft already invented and built, and then taking it light years ahead of where Microsoft is. And what you guys are doing here seems to be on that path, but you know, part of your financial consideration, I think, needs to be what patent, and I'm not trying to play lawyer here, Kathy, but what patents you might infringe upon, you know, by using someone else's product to make yours. Even the little dryer sheets, the first thought that comes to mind is bounce. I know what those do. I don't do wash, but you know, I've seen those boxes of bounce in our laundry room. And, you know, so just think about those sort of things. You know, when you're rolling this, or even in your MVP stage, because there might be financial consideration for others' products or ideas that you're using.
Right.
What does $10 to $12 get me?
There's two aspects. There's the $10 to $12 is the starter kit, which would come with our own bag and like 4 or 5 sheets like to put in the bag. And then we'll also have like a refill pack, which we're still discussing the price and stuff like that.
And you all look great, and you did a good job with eye contact. I noticed you were all trying to do that, which is wonderful. And you each had sort of a role to play, which I like. That was kind of cool. It was fun to watch. I love the idea. I'm not sure about the dryer sheet, though. I think that's going to be a patent problem. But there are a lot of different ways you could transfer. You know, I don't know. You know, they've got those packets.
Yes.
Or maybe even something that you could actually attach to the dryer drum that releases while you're gone.
Yeah.
Just things that I was thinking, but I love the idea of not sending your clothes and spending so much money, just doing it in your own dryer. Great idea, you guys did a great job.
For Dry Owl, the company they have these wet sheets that you put in with the bag, And so we were trying to contact like the manufacturer of those sheets to find out the material. We're still trying to find that. So that's why we're asking for like money to continue to find materials that we can create on our own without using other businesses' products.
The question, you go back to your addressable market, you started with the adults, which made sense, but then I think you said, well, we took 5% of that because it didn't seem too high or too low.
Yeah.
It's always nice to see a little more specific reasoning or what's the quantitative reason. Okay, it's not too high or too low, but maybe it's 50% because there's some reason, right? I mean, of the adults, right?
Yeah, I just took that
everybody
number.
goes outside. Everybody,
Right.
whoever lives in, if you go back to your first map, where's the mosquito population in the U.S.? Well, it's east of the Mississippi, so it's 50% of that top number are people that are potentially impacted. So you just maybe using some logic rather than just, well, it seems like it's about right. But it was good, and then the $10 to $12, is that for how much? How long does that last, right? Or is that, I mean, it's gonna do all my clothes for 3 weeks, or is that every time I go out, it's $10 to $12?
It depends on how much you want to use our product, because obviously every time you do a load of laundry, you're not gonna want to especially now when you don't even, there's no mosquitoes outside right now, so it might be kind of more of a seasonal thing where you're gonna use it and you're gonna buy it more in the summer, or if you live in places like the South where you're gonna need it year round. So it kind of depends on your lifestyle, how often you're gonna restock, but like Jackson said, the $10 to $12 kind of gets you a starter kit, which comes with a bag kind of like this. It's a garment safe bag. It's safer in the dryer, and 3 or 4 of these sheets. So, and you can put however many clothes you want in this bag. So it's kind of like, and it depends on how strong you want, how long you want the product to last. But it definitely depends on like kind of the lifestyle that you live.
Very good. That's all. Terrific. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Good afternoon, everyone. First off, I'd like to thank you for being here. I'm Hannah Bruskin.
I'm Ava Spear. I'm Anthony Passarelli.
I'm Sarah Grabowski. And I'm Nini Weissek.
And we are Keepsake. Who in the room has a child that has accidentally wandered off in a public place, for instance, a park, a mall, an airport, amusement park, or even who has experienced this trauma in their childhood before? It's okay, there are 2,000 children in America going through this each day.
And the majority of the time, the child is reunited with their parents, but unfortunately, that doesn't speak for everyone. And you may think, I have a smart child and I live in a safe area, but so did, in the past 5 years, the 1,500 victims of strangers attempting to lure or kidnap children in the Chicago area. And not to mention the 800,000 children that are reported missing in the United States each year. And by the time we even finish this presentation, 15 children will be missing or abducted. So how are we going to solve this? This is where our product, Keep Safe, comes into action by providing children with a GPS necklace that allows them to contact their parents or the authority if needed. This device is more beneficial in a timely manner versus someone reaching for their phone and dialing 911 or simply freezing under pressure. Our product also has a GPS in it that is connected to an app on the parent's phone. So if they need to find their child, they could go in that and look through that. And that's also where they'd be notified if their child feels unsafe.
A crucial part of our project here is finding out what our customers want. Having parents with children, we really needed to find our target market and really get the thoughts of their personal perspective. So as a group, we went to downtown Libertyville and interviewed some families with children to get their personal feedback on what they thought of our product and how they could give us some advice for the future. So we looked into it, and one major thing that came up, and one respondent responded saying that parents have grown up in different ages than we have. And I remember my parents would tell me stories of 20, 30, 40 years ago that they would come home when the street light turned on. That was their cue to come home, and their parents had no questions about it. Today, parents have to know where their children are at all times because safety is a major issue in our society today. So therefore, after we got some positive feedback from the people in Libertyville, we decided we were going to go take a survey, have people take a survey so we could get a broader spectrum of what people are interested in. So we asked the question if parents think their children need more unstructured playtime, time where they can be more independent and grow themselves. And we got great response on it. 74.1% of the parents said yes, they do need it. This response goes along with going to the park. Do you let your child go to the park by themselves, walk to their friend's house across the street? Is that a major safety concern? And so we looked into that, and we found that both the positive and negative feedback is beneficial to our research. For all the parents who responded yes, this is that extra safety device that will allow them to be confident that their child is exactly what they said they would be at the right time in the right moment. For all the parents who are leery about their children going out and are concerned, well, are they going to come home? Are they going to the right place? This is perfect for them too. That'll give them that extra boost so they will let their children be more independent. So technology is a major portion of our device. We need to know if children will be able to operate this kind of technology. We found that children can use iPhones, so there should be absolutely no reason why they will not be able to use a simple press of a button on our device and respond to a time of need. And overall, our whole objective here is to solve the problem of child safety. Can we eliminate the amount of children who go missing with our product? And 87.9% of the people said this is a problem in our society. So that's our goal here, is to keep your children safe anytime, any place.
This is a 3D model of our product that we hope to 3D print. We're going to 3D print it because it's cheaper, and also if we need to make any adjustments, it's easy to make and print out also as quickly. There are 3 components to our product: the exterior, the schematics, and the bottom. We need the exterior to be nice and cool so the children will want to wear it and not think it's lame. But also, we also need it to be not flashy or else it might look suspicious. The interior is going to have the schematics, which include a GPS module, a battery, which is similar to a watch battery, flat and round, and a SIM card. And then the bottom will have the button that the child will use if they ever feel like they're in an uncomfortable situation. They'll press it once to signal their parents and send their location, or twice to contact the police and also their parents. And this is part of the thing that we're going to put in the schematics. Our product, we're going to try to keep as small as possible. Our target is less than 4 millimeters wide, similar to the pocket socket, the pop socket that many people have on their iPhones. And lastly, our app is, sorry?
I'm sorry, I don't know what that is, the pot, I've
This
never
is
heard of
like,
that before.
It's do you want to explain it, Sarah?
It's like so it's like easier to like hold your phone. It's like, that's what-
Okay, I apologize.
It's all right.
It's his fault.
Oh, it is my fault. I didn't know what it was either.
Neither did I until Sarah brought it to class. This is our app. It's similar to Find My iPhone, where you can see multiple devices on one map, or you can see them on individual maps to see which child is where. What makes it different is we're trying to put a application called Safe Zones in our product to see if parents would like that, where you can set certain places on a map as a safe zone, and if the child leaves that zone, you'll instantly be notified, whether or not they press a button or not. But it all depends on whether people like the testing that we do after our prototyping.
So this is a chart for how many devices like worldwide have been sold, and our product falls into the smartwatches. And as you can see, it's been increasing every year. So there's a more demand for our product. So that's why we think that our product needs to be here, because like there's not a lot that like go into the smartwatches, and if our product's here, then we'll get like a lot of customers. And then that goes into our TAM and SAM. So for our TAM, we have 72 million people, and this is for the parents of kids within our age range, which is 5 to 12. And then next comes our SAM, and that's 71,000 people. And I did that for our competitors' customers. So this is the average for what our competitors' customers are, which is 71,000. And then goes into our size of market. I took half of our SAM to get, so this is like the minimum of customers that we would have, just like an estimation, because we don't really have a lot of competitors. And then going on to our competitors, these are just a few of our competitors: AngelSense, Pocket Finder, and GeoBit. And these all include safe zones and where the parents can only track their kids. But our product differs from this because our product, the child can send the parent or police notifications if they feel unsafe or if they're in an uncomfortable situation. And our product will also have safe zones in it, like these products do, because parents seem to like all these safe zones. And also going like into like, right now we're focusing on like girls and for necklaces for girls, but when we go in like more years, we're gonna focus on boys, and we'll do like a watch for them. And then going like more into it, we could do like elderly people, like do like necklaces and something to help them too.
So this leads into your investment, the reason we're all here today. So we are asking for $100, and what are we going to use this $100 for? It's mainly going to be for the prototype. So we have already started to develop a very basic prototype for our necklace, just to really see if all of the features we want to put in our necklace could work. So about 70 of that 100 will go towards our prototype, and the other 30 or so we are going to start to put towards the development of our app. Because as you know, our app is a key feature, because without it, the parents won't be able to look at where their child is through the GPS, and the child also won't be able to send notifications of where they are or if they're in an uncomfortable situation. And moving forward, for the rest of the month of February, we really want to focus on our prototype, so that in March we can really start to test our prototype, and we can give it to children between the ages of 5 to 12 and see how they like the necklace, if it gets in their way or if they just don't like it. And we'll also be able to get parent feedback that we'll be able to put into our necklace and our app. And then in April, we are going to work on finalizing everything, and we are also going to work on really promoting our necklace, because we really want to get our name, Keep Safe, out there so everyone knows who we are. And then that is all going to lead into our final investors pitch in May. So at Keep Safe, our goal is to keep children safe no matter where they are. Whether they're at the park, at a friend's house, at a beach, or at a mall, we want to keep them safe. And we believe when a child is wearing the Keep Safe necklace, they'll always be safe with just one press of a button. So thank you for coming, thank you for listening, and we will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I've got a couple. What do you predict the cost will be?
$70 we predict the cost is.
The cost of our necklace?
Yes.
We're still not sure of how much it would cost. We think that would cost probably somewhere around $100. Just because of all the electronic devices we have to put in there, we feel like that is
Is that a one-time fee, or are you gonna have like a monthly fee for the, if it's gonna have a SIM card, you're gonna have like a cell service that you have to be tied into?
No, it doesn't have to have a data plan connected to it because of the SIM card. So it would just be a one-time fee.
The more universal the product, you have pros and cons to it. Like if it's a necklace, it's going to be very identifiable, which means any would-be stranger danger would remove the necklace and leave it in the safe zone, taking the child with them. Would you consider a more discreet type of device?
The reason we did a necklace is because most of our competitors are like watches or pocket things that you clip onto your pocket, and those could fall off very easily. So the reason we did a necklace is because like going like this, like it's kind of like hard to like rip off, and we just think it would be easier. And kids, like it's hard to take it like your necklace off by yourself. So we thought it'd be easier for kids, like if they're playing or like doing any outdoor activities, then it would be like hard to get off. And we're trying to make it as small as we can, so like the predator, like you were saying, like wouldn't notice it and wouldn't be like that noticeable. So then like they wouldn't like see like the first thing is to like rip that necklace off.
Well, the good thing about having an identifiable device is that it's almost a preventative.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So there's pros and cons to having it very identifiable.
Going off of that, we also have the idea of switching out the exterior, so having different, like sort of making it customizable to the child, so having different out exteriors that a child can have, so that way if this does become a very well-known product, that you won't see one style of necklace and know, oh, that's keepsafe, I need to take that off the child. And also, the reason why we have it a necklace is if a child is ever in a dangerous situation and someone is coming out at them, it's going to be a lot easier for a child to go to their chest area and press a button than either pull out a phone or go down to their wrist. And if someone is like wrestling with a child or something like that, we feel like a watch would come off a lot easier than a necklace.
It seems like, I think that's a big question, right, is there's the software piece, which is the safe zones and what you program into it, and then there's the hardware piece, which is the necklace versus the band versus on a cell phone case. And I think that's going to be your challenge is with the hardware piece, now that the child has to want to wear it. And you know, we all know, 5 to 12 fashion tastes change, hourly, daily, weekly, and so now you're challenged with, hey, I'm more in a retail business trying to figure out what's the fashion that is going to be appealing. You're almost trying to sell that, which is a far different animal than selling the technology solution. So it's just something to consider.
Yeah, actually on our survey too, we started getting feedback on what people thought of, what kind of devices do their children wear, like as far as accessories go. And for those who responded, for girls having children, girls obviously, they wore necklaces was like the second after boys who were wearing none. So that's why we kind of focus on that as well, that we can see if we can design something that kids are going to want to wear, that's a huge part of our market. So as long as we find something that they can wear that they don't feel controlled by their parents and make parents feel safe, then we're hoping to get a win-win in that.
Well, as a mother, I wish I had this about 10 years ago, because, and I'm not kidding, I used to drive around my neighborhood, which is a pretty big neighborhood, searching in the dark for my 12-year-old, 11-year-old, 10, because he had no sense of time. And he was just going from one neighbor's house to the other. So you're a little late. But I think it's a fabulous product that you've developed. You did a great presentation. You look fabulous. And let me know when it's ready to buy, because I might have grandchildren someday.
So when you go into being able to transmit versus just a GPS receiver, I mean, you've gone to a whole nother level of technology kind of thing and costs. So the question is, one question is, do you really need to be able to transmit or just receive? Because I mean, you got the Apple Watch. I mean, why not just give them an Apple Watch? That's the first question. I like the necklace idea. I think it's a deterrent. And I think it's cool because once one of the things Motorola didn't recognize a long time ago was that this stuff is jewelry. You know, it's bling. You know, it's not a radio, guys. So I do like the necklace idea. One thing on your market analysis, I think you should put up not because you guys are now you're into my zone here. Tile. I think you should compare yourself with Tile. And I think you should compare yourself with Whistle. Do you know what Whistle is? It's a dog collar that has a GPS dog collar, and I actually have products inside that thing, and they're selling them at PetSmart. So you should probably get one of those, tear it apart, and look at its form factor, because you can put it on your dog, and then you can compare. You can see it. You know how lazy your dog is. You can compare it to other dogs of the same breed, the same age. People go nuts with that. They spend a ton of money on their pets, and you should really, you should get one of those and tear it apart and look at their software and how they're doing it, especially their website. Their website really grabs at your heartstrings. It's a great Whistle. It's the name of that product.
Thank you.
Do you want me to go there? We should wait till the passing period's over.
Thank you.
We're just gonna wait. Could we just wait till the passing period's over?
Maybe close
Is it
the
okay
door.
if we just wait till the passing period's over?
Yeah.
We don't want like. I think so. You just have to go.
But, you know, I work with the children, the one that they just did, being an advice to make sure, you know, the other parent would know they're in the right place at the right time.
We lost the faster guy already. He said he doesn't want to. Do you have a phone?
Do you want to set it on? It's just the way it goes. I said
It's like a very narrow version that should be that type of thing, because they can just take it.
Wait, do you want my phone then? Because I have the. I have. Are you saying mine?
Close the door. Oh wait.
Oh, I know.
Oh, or else they can't see you.
Victoria.
Guys, I forgot everything.
Yes.
How funny was
Yes.
it?
Tyler, you have to be within the.
Oh, shoot. This is good.
That's good.
She's right there.
Okay. Hi, I'm Victoria Gambroni.
I'm Grace Butts.
I'm Emily Silgi.
I'm Tyler Strauss.
And we're Flag Track. So this past summer, my family took a trip down to Italy, and we were going around basically the whole country taking pictures of like all the views and the ruins and things like that. And for the last 2 days, we decided we wanted to drive up to Rome to see like the Colosseum before we came back to the United States. So we decided to drive up there, and it was an 8-hour drive from where we were going, so it was a pretty long time. And so we were about 3 to 4 hours in, and my sister really had to use the bathroom. So we went over and we went to a rest stop, and my sister was just flew out of the car because she had to go so bad, and my dad was running after her because he didn't want her to get lost. And so we all went in and got food and used the bathroom and stuff before we like continued our journey back to Rome. And my dad reached into his pocket and he realized that his phone wasn't there. And he was freaking out because all of his pictures from the trip, all of his business emails, his contacts, his texts and things were all on his phone, and he didn't know where it was. So we were looking all around the van, inside. We went in to look in the bathroom, and everywhere that he went, we tried using Find My iPhone, but someone turned his phone off, so we couldn't find it. So we kind of figured out that it was lost. And everyone here has probably lost their phone at some point and felt like this devastation, like your heart dropping, like when you lose your phone and it's just under your bed. But we were in like a totally different country, and like this heart drop, like devastation that you feel was at like a whole different level. So this devastation that you feel when you lose your phone is the problem that us as Flag Track are trying to fix.
1.4 million. That's how many smartphones are lost every year. That's 3,836 a day and 160 every hour. Every year, 840 million Americans have spent $840 million on lost smartphones, and with a $75 purchase, Americans will save $735 million with Flag Track.
To address the evident issue of people losing their phones, we created our product, which is Fitty Phone Case. It's a durable tracking phone case, and with its durability, we'd like to test it to make sure that it's both shockproof and shatterproof. The case itself would be made out of a tough polycarbonate, such as a life-proof phone case, with a rubber exterior to make sure that this would happen. And the tracking feature would be built inside to the interior of the case. When our customer would buy our product, they could create a username and password, and whenever they lose their phone, they could go access our app or website from another device to track their phone. We've run into some competitors along the way, including OtterBox, for being very well known for selling durable cases that prevent your phone from shattering or breaking. The problem with this is that sometimes people aren't satisfied with the bulkiness of the case. Another competitor is Find My iPhone, with the tracking aspect of our product. And the problem with Find My iPhone is that when your phone is broken or it's just the battery is dead, or like Victoria's dad when it was accidentally turned off, it doesn't work, so you can't track it at all. The last two are Tile and Tracker, and these are two companies that helped us a lot while we've been researching which technology we'll be using. They both use Bluetooth and small devices that you can put into your purse or wallet or keys, and with their app you can track where it is. And this inspired our Bluetooth model for our product.
So as we've gone further with our product, we haven't come to an exact conclusion of what kind of technology we're going to be using. We have two options, either Bluetooth or GPS, which we're going to be explaining in the next few minutes. And also, we'll explain later how we're going to be creating two prototypes, as we don't know which kind of technology we're going to be using first. we've researched them both extensively, and they've both proposed a list of pros and cons, which we're going to go through right now. So the Bluetooth aspect, these are the two products, Tile and Tracker, and we're modeling our Bluetooth after their products. So that green chip you see up there, that is a low power Bluetooth, and it's identical to just a regular Bluetooth, except it uses a lot less power, and that is powered by a CR2816 lithium battery, and that battery lasts up to a year, so it does have a long lifespan. And if we do end up following through with the Bluetooth, then we would include a charging cable, which would be plugged in about once a year for 10 to 20 minutes, and that would give you battery life for the entire year, which would be good for users because you wouldn't have to purchase a new phone case, you would just have to charge it, and it's like brand new. So also the connection radius for Bluetooth is about 100 yards, which isn't a great connection, but the products here, they use something called Crowd GPS. This is a live map of Tracker's Crowd GPS, and the best way that I can describe it is like a pinball machine. So you pull the lever back, which is basically you sending out a signal to your device, and then the pinball is the connection that goes bouncing around on the obstacles in the pinball machine, and that is other people's devices. And you're using their connection, or you're bouncing off the connection to get to the final slot, which is your device, which will pinpoint the exact location. So that's what Tile and Tracker do. So some pros to the Bluetooth is that it's relatively thin. It's about half the size of this. I can pass this around. You can look at that. And so that would create a sleek phone case that's pretty flat, which again would be beneficial to our users who don't want a bulky phone case. And then there's also no extra data rates because Bluetooth already is on your data plan, so you wouldn't have any other fees with that. But there are some drawbacks. One being, again, that the connection radius is only about 100 yards, so that isn't a great connection. It's about the size of your house, I guess. And and it would originally be hard to start an initial company because our community of users would be really small. So a potential solution we have to that problem is maybe partnering with Tracker or Tile, and that would be beneficial for us for a couple of reasons. One being we would use their technology and just embed it in our phone case, which would allow us to already have the technology, and then we would also adopt their community of users and their entire network, which would create a more accurate product for us. So that's just the Bluetooth. Tyler's going to explain the GPS.
So we talked to our lovely engineer students over there, and they suggested that we use a GPS and GSM system, and using this in the phone case, they said that it would be the best because it would give an exact location of where your lost device is, and we would need a 3-volt lithium-ion battery, which is right there, and then we need a GSM antenna and a GPS antenna, which are these two, and those connect to the cell towers and will give you the exact, and satellites, and give you the exact location of where your device is. And some pros to using this is that it gives you the exact location. So in Victoria's story, if her dad lost his phone, if he was using the GPS and GSM system, it would give him the exact coordinates of where his phone is, and he could follow his device. But some cons is that it does have a bulkier design, and our engineer students said that it is going to be about this bulk all the way around to fit everything inside the case, but it will work. And also, the data plan for using a SIM card is $3 to $5 extra, and that will be added to your data plan. So we've been talking to some cellular companies and trying to not have it an additional cost, but add it to your data plan, so it'll be easier for the customer.
There we go.
Alright, so going into
to who we're going to be selling our product to, our TAM, which is our total available market, we decided would be people in the United States with smartphones. We were then able to narrow that down to our SAM, which is people in the U.S. with iPhones. We chose iPhones because 67% of people in the United States who have smartphones, their ones that they use are iPhones, and it's also easier for us to test it because all of us in our group have iPhones. So when we're testing out our product with the app and the case itself, we're able to easily test it out. And we're lastly able to narrow it down to our sizable market, which was teenagers in high school or college who have an iPhone. And we chose them because 67, as I said before, 67% of teenagers in the United States have an iPhone if they do have a smartphone, and so we were able to narrow that down to when we got to our numbers. We were able to take that number and put it into the total number of buyers and figure out that if we even had 1% of the serviceable obtainable market, and they would only buy it once with the cost being $75, we would have the total amount of $14 million to kind of go around and sell the product. Also, last October, towards like the end of October, we sent out a survey to kind of get an overall perspective about how people would be feeling about our product. And with that, we got 94 responses. They were between the ages of 12 to 25 or older, and we were able to get some basic feedback on what we were thinking our case would be like. The questions we asked were based off of the durability aspect as well as the tracking. The questions we asked about tracking, we were able to figure out that most people had lost their phone at least once in the past year, and that when they lost it, they were worried in some form, whether that be they're worried about it, but it's not their top priority, to I need to find it right now or else I can't go on with my day. We also asked questions about the durability, and the question we asked was how often they broke or dropped their phone. And most of the people that responded to our survey said they had dropped or broken it at least once in the past year, so that showed us that the durability aspect would be helpful as well as the tracking.
We have some pictures of what we want our app and website to look like. We want to be easy and simple for our customers to use. This would be the home page where people could sign in to track their device, or where they could sign up once they buy our product. We'd also include different aspects of the actual product and benefits of it, including its durability, reliability, the sleek design, and its accessibility. And we'll also just include the specifications of the actual dimensions of our product, of the phone case, and how the Bluetooth or the GPS system would work, so our customers are fully aware of what they're using. We'll also have pictures of what our app will look like, so our customers will know that they can either use the website or the app with whatever is easier for them in that instance. And lastly, we'll just include some information about the Flack Track team and how we came up with our product and got our start.
Here's our mock-up for the app. When you open the app, you'll have to sign in with your unique username and password to get into the app to be able to track your personal device. And it will have a simple and sweet design. And here is a tab where there's the map, and it will show you where exactly your device is that is being tracked. And here's another tab that says how Fiddy will work, and we need to figure out if we're going to use Bluetooth or GPS to show how it's going to work. And on this tab, it's going to be a battery, and it's going to tell you how much battery is in the battery of the phone case and when you need to charge it and when it's low on battery. And here is your custom profile, which will be where you can put all your information, and it will be customizable for you. And lastly, it's our About Us tab, which will be how to contact us and our information.
Okay, so we've kind of given you a general breakdown of our product, and what FlagTrack stands for and what problems we're trying to solve. So like I said before, we're going to end up needing to create 2 prototypes, testing the Bluetooth and the GPS. So we're asking for $100 to do that. And if you're wondering where those numbers come from, I'm gonna go through them right now. So the actual phone case, that costs around $15, so we're gonna need 2 of those, so $30 for that. And then for a quality piece of technology, for the GPS, that costs around $50, but that's the only other piece we would need for the GPS part. And then for the Bluetooth, we need 2 things. First, the actual low power Bluetooth chip, which costs around $10, and then a CR2016 lithium battery, and that costs around $3 for a pack of 2. So in total, that is $93, and that's why we're asking for $100 to start up our product and to begin testing to figure out which one will end up working better for us using our research and feedback from users that we will have. In terms of pricing, the 2 devices might have a different price. So for the GPS, it costs $65 to make, and we want a 25% profit with that. We price the case around $81. For the Bluetooth, it costs around $28 to make, and then again with a 25% profit, we would price the phone case around $35. So they are obviously a lot different prices, but that's because they're very different pieces of technology. So that's who we are. We're FlagTrack, and we hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you for showing interest in our class, and if you have any questions.
Well, it's a great idea. I mean, how many times have I lost my phone and freaked out, right? And you all look beautiful, and you did a great presentation, and you looked us in the eye, and you're very confident. You're, great idea. Let me know when it's ready.
So does this prevent, really just against lost
Yes.
phones, but not stolen, right? Because if I steal someone's phone, I just pop off the case and throw it in the garbage can.
In the beginning, we were going to address both lost and stolen phones, but after doing some research, we realized that when someone steals a phone, they're just going to take everything off of it so they can resell it. So we wouldn't want to market for that.
And what's the difference in the numbers? Do you know? So the total lost and stolen is $1 million?
The total stolen, I believe, was 3.1 million, while loss was 1.4.
So you're just looking at one?
Yeah, we're just looking at 1.4.
So you're targeting smartphone users, that's your TAM, right?
Yes.
What's your sales channel? Are you going to, you must have said it, I missed it. Are you going to the cell company, the guys that make the cell phones? Are you going to the providers, the Verizons of the world? Or are you just putting it on the App Store, not just, but are you putting it on the App Store and people are activating it as a consumer?
You mean with like the app?
Yeah, so how are you going to sell it? How am I, if I want to buy the GPS model for $85, am I going to go to the Best Buy where I buy my phone, or am I going to go to the Verizon store, or am I going to look for it on the App Store?
Well, if we go into like the GPS, it'll probably be towards like the carrier with like Verizon or AT&T, because like Tyler was saying, the SIM card has a additional price every month because they have to send signals up to like things in the sky so that you can track your phone. So if we go towards the GPS route, we will be selling it probably in like Verizon stores. So they could say you could add on the FlagTrack to that, but if we go towards Bluetooth, it'll probably be like selling it on our website or in like stores like Best Buy or something.
But just, do you have a sense, I don't know off the top of my head, what does Apple Care cost per year, right? So if I buy a new iPhone, I can pay for Apple Care, so if I drop it, break it, lose it, I get it replaced, right? So I think that's what you have to think about competing against, and is it $85 or $70 or whatever you end up at? How competitive is that in terms of making a decision? Because I think the other thing, obviously, people say I don't want to lose my pictures. That's the big thing. But can't you back that up to the cloud anyway these days? So really, it comes down to the phone replacement, and it's kind of insurance, I think. So it's really thinking about what the comparison cost is.
You're right, but I'll take it one step further for you in a second, so we can conk out that $39. We can justify ourselves this product really easily in a minute. But first of all, yeah, you guys look great. Good presentation. Love that you did your homework. My family has the tiles. Being a techie guy, first of all, I think everybody should have 16 devices. I mean, I love it. It's great for me, great for business. So you did your homework there. The tiles, I was skeptical at first that they work. Like Paul was saying, he looked into it and was like, I'm not going to buy them. I'm in business, but it works. My kids use them. They found their stuff using tile, so I think it's a great idea to partner up with tile, or at least use their stuff. And then bringing it all the way to the cell phone, to the GPS, and having CDMA in there. I think you're onto something better there, because like Paul was saying, he's like, I didn't buy the tiles just because there's some negative feedback out there. I think here's what you do. You be the IP person. Go, as long as you have a battery in there, you might as well just jack it up. Go ahead and make yourself a protective case, make yourself the tracker, but also be a backup battery. And all those three things. Now, because I need all those. I need those. People are buying all that stuff. You combine those three into one, now you don't have to compete with AppleCare, because you're an extra battery, and everybody's buying one of those.
So the fourth thing I think that you didn't talk too much about, talked a little bit about it up front, was the design of the case. How are you going to differentiate yourself from everybody else with cases out there? Everybody's got them. Somebody's doing the rugged case, somebody's doing it for colors. Are you guys going to try to get into that, or are you going to just have a specific, you're going to try to earmark something for your company only, or what are you thinking there?
Well, when we were doing more research, we just focused more on the technology aspect, because we figured out we could just work with the basic materials of it and then figure out the design later. But we were thinking, like, this is a rubber all the way around, so it doesn't slide, but then the life-proof case makes it a little shock-proof, so that like the rubber would help it. We don't have a specific color or anything like that, but we just more on the durability than the actual one.
Did you guys ever consider for your revenue model, instead of a one-time $85 or $35 fee, depending which technology, kind of give away the phone or the device, the case, and then charge a monthly fee?
That's what we were gonna do with the GPS system. Use the monthly fee because it connects to the data plan. That's how data plans work. And we called Verizon, and they said that they didn't really help because I don't think they understood our question. But from what we learned from it, is that it was $12 added to the monthly fee that they charge with adding the SIM card in the phone case.
So I don't understand the technology. Dave probably would, I'm sure, but just something to think about is that transactional revenue instead of a one-time shot. Because at some point you exhaust your market, sort of, by just selling something one time. But if you provide them something of value for just to cover your costs, so to speak, and then charge them a reasonable, whatever the model is, because I realize you have the cell companies in there, everyone wants their piece of the pie, but it's important to think about maybe a transactional revenue model, because then you've kind of got a customer for life. The money just rolls in.
You know what I miss? I miss the earpiece. Because every time I went 100 yards away from my phone, it would alert me that my device is not connected, and I then knew that I had left my phone. You were 4 hours into your trip when your dad realized that his phone was missing. Is there any way that you would expand to some sort of alert system once you go out of Bluetooth range? Because I'm never within 100 yards of my phone. And if I am, it's probably because I forgot it. I went to a meeting, or I'm at the airport and I realize I left my phone at home and I'm calling my daughter to run it to the airport, or something to that effect. And I know, Dave, you may be able to help, but if you expanded it outside of the case itself to maybe a device that would be more beneficial to me. I don't want to walk around anymore with the earpiece, and it's kind of nerdy, but now.
Get a necklace.
Yeah, there you go.
I do think it's definitely something to consider, but hopefully in the future we wouldn't need that because there would be a large network of users, so then the Bluetooth would work anywhere. It doesn't matter if your phone is away from your Bluetooth. It would just use other people's signal, which would increase like the connection that
Did you look into how many people would have to buy it for that technology to work? I mean, how close do I need to be to Jeff's phone for my Bluetooth to bounce off of his phone?
Well, like I said, the radius is about 100 yards, so someone else's device would probably have to be about 100 yards from where your phone is. And again, with the large community of users, that would increase the accuracy.
So that's potential, I'm sure you know that, that's obviously an issue if you're out backpacking somewhere.
Right.
You know, that's where the GPS would be.
Yeah, so we have to still test that.
Just right, focus on the recurring revenue. You know, that's worth more to you in the long run than the $75 up front. Go ahead and make that 35 on that. My car, basically what you do is put another cell phone on your cell phone. And then my car's got that. My car's got another phone in there. And I can remote start it and track it and all that stuff. And, you know, they gave it to me free for 2 years, and then I was like, well, I paid for it. And then 2 years of service for free. And all of a sudden I started getting this bill, $5 a month. I'm like, what the hell is this? I paid it. I'm like, yeah, this is worth it. They got a customer for life. That's right.
Very good.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Harrison Jensen.
I'm Veda Wilkins.
I'm Charlotte Roberts.
And I'm Austin Green.
We are here to present to you INCubator.
So imagine you're coming home from a long day at work, and you're kind of tired and stuff, so you turn on the radio and you hear your favorite song. So you kind of like turn it up a little bit, but maybe just a little too loud. So then you see off to your left an ambulance speeding past you, and you realize, oh my gosh, what am I doing? It's honking at me, and it's like, oh, it's all right. It's no big deal. It's not like anyone died.
But for the person in the back of that ambulance, or for the house that that fire truck was on its way to, those few seconds can mean life or death.
16,000 emergency vehicles are involved in collisions every year, and 400 of those involve fatality. The second leading cause of police fatalities are actually accident collisions.
Alright, a main problem in society today is distracted driving, such as eating, texting, and turning up your music just a little too loud. All of us have these vices, and they may distract us from oncoming EMS vehicles coming from behind us, in front of us, or to the side, because we won't see them or know they're coming. Also, car manufacturers are starting to make their new cars with blocking out outside noises, and it's going to make the driver more comfortable while driving, but it's going to be more of a pain for the EMS drivers because the drivers will be distracted. They won't know what's coming.
INCubator is a device that will come pre-installed in new cars that is designed to alert you of an EMS vehicle in your vicinity. It alerts you with an on-screen notification telling you how far away this EMS vehicle is and where it is coming from. Now, some current solutions to this problem are the opticoms on top of the traffic lights, except the opticoms are very expensive, so they only put them in highly trafficked intersections. So, they only work sometimes, and when you're driving, you're not always near an intersection. Or radar detectors, where a radar detector is designed to help reckless drivers avoid speeding tickets, whereas Ambulert is designed to help drivers move out of the way from EMS vehicles to make the situation as safe as possible.
Okay, so with Ambulert, we wanted to reach 3 distinct markets, starting with our SOM, or serviceably obtainable market. We hope to start with just one American car manufacturer and getting our product into that. And we understand that with a product like this, we would probably be licensed to that company for a few years. And then after that time, we hope to move into our SAM, which would include multiple American car manufacturers to try to get our product into more cars. And then hopefully eventually the end goal will be our TAM, including all American car manufacturers and hopefully international car manufacturers as well. And that also leads us into our TAM market sheet. 60 million new cars are produced every year, and 26.8% of those are sold in 1 year. So we would find that we have a total of about 16 million customers, and that would make our total addressable market about 160 million. So that's what we hope to achieve and reach with Ambulert.
So we're not quite sure about the cost per use yet. So we just estimate about $10. So that would be how much it makes to produce our product and then also put it into the car. So we're still a little shaky with that number, but that was our estimate.
All right, so from you guys, we're looking for an investment for $80 for this soundboard. And for the soundboard, we're going to program it to pick up the ambulance sounds and other EMS vehicles. And we're going to start our testing by that.
So in the future for our company, we'll get our minimal viable product, and that would be the soundboard like Austin said. And so it'll detect the sound, and then it can notify you where the ambulance is coming from, how far away it is, and where you should pull off to. So we'll be doing some testing with that. And the way that we're going to do that is, we actually approach the Vernon Hills Fire Department, which covers the Vernon Hills area and then also the countryside right off of Midlothian and 6083. And so they said that they'd be more than happy to help us out with some testing, and they're very excited about our product. So after testing, we're going to revise our product to perfect it and make sure that it actually works and know how to put it into the car. And then after finalizing and perfecting our product, we're going to have a go-to-market strategy. So our market is actually it's a business to business. We're going to pitch it to car manufacturers because they'll actually be putting it into the car. We're not a business to consumer because that would be more of the car company's job to actually sell it, but we're really selling our product to the car manufacturers. And then our final pitch is for our final investment and hope to pursue Ambulert.
Thank you guys for listening. At this time, we'll take any questions.
So hey, I think it's it's a problem, no question about it. It's happened to me many times. I'm not sure why, but I think I'm getting pulled over is what my problem is. And sure would be nice to know that it was, the ambulance and not, the cop pulling me over. I know there's a similar product. You mentioned radars. There are certain radar detectors that work off a different technology than you guys are talking about. But the ambulance will send off a signal when they're driving down the highway, and your radar picks it up, and it sends a different signal out of your radar. So my radar actually will give me a different sound, and that's how I know it's an ambulance. But not every ambulance has that, so you don't pick up every ambulance when they're driving. Have you guys ever seen Cobra is the company that makes those? So I don't know if you guys have seen those or heard about them.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Those are also very expensive, and it's a different kind of business relation because they're selling to you, where we would be selling to, say, Ford or Chevy, and they would put it in the cars and say have it as an added safety feature when you're buying.
Well, and that's kind of what you're doing, right? You're trying to sell this to the automakers, and then they're going to be able to go out to their customers and say, hey, buy our car because now it's this much safer, right? And that's what you're trying to give them the ability to do. I was just curious if you knew what that because I don't, what that difference in that technology is. I mean, what you guys are talking about is you want to put together a product that'll sense the sound of an ambulance, and then alert you in your car that that's what's going on.
Yeah, so while we were in Vernon Hills, we actually talked to the fire chief, and he said that not every ambulance, fire truck, and police car sends off like the same frequency or even a frequency at all. So it would be very inconsistent, and so that's why we chose sound instead.
How are their sounds? Are they all similar?
So we would program the sound board or like detector to hear like each sound that an ambulance or fire truck makes.
There are only a few numbers or a few sounds.
There is. Okay.
So it's all regulated. It's not just every town makes up their own sound.
You had mentioned in your presentation that we would know where the vehicle, the EMS vehicle, is coming from. How would just by the sound tell you where the vehicle is coming from?
The product itself, when ambulance would be installed in your car, it would not only, the goal of it would be once it detects that sound, it would cut off your car radio, but also why you want a new car is because they have those onboard screens. Sometimes you have that onboard screen, it would give you an arrow or some kind of directional that would tell you what way to pull over, so you know like where the ambulance is coming from and what direction to pull over from. And that's why we also want to make pitch to car manufacturers, is because it's illegal to mess with your car onboard system just as a consumer. So by programming it in the car, it will have those features already installed.
And you had said you're going to target one car maker first to go after?
Yes.
And so then how big, I think your numbers were for all, the 60 million is cars produced, and then 26% is cars sold in a year total. And then each manufacturer would be, I think the biggest is probably a million cars a year, right?
Yeah, the number for the 60 million, that was cars sold in the U.S. every year. It's hard to find specific numbers for each car manufacturer. We found one for GM. About 9.7 million cars are produced by GM every year, so that kind of gave us a start as to what our SAM could be.
And so that's really as we said, the target market, right, is trying to sell it to the car manufacturer, but then the challenge is that's just something they're going to include, right? Nobody's going to go buy a car and, oh, hey, it's not $25,000, it's $25,050 because we put this feature in. So I think that's what you really have to market is why the car company can then sell this added feature and differentiate themselves from their competitors being safer or more desirable without being able to recover that extra cost.
Well, you all did a great job. I love these presentations. You all did, good eye contact and you look great. And I love the idea. It's interesting to wonder is this supposed to be for police sirens too?
Yes.
Okay, and you did your homework, so you went to the fire department. Was he excited about the possibility that cars would get this?
Yeah, for sure. So we went to the fire departments and then also police departments because they're sometimes different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mostly an issue for police officers because they look like a regular car, and you don't always see the sirens and stuff. But then in comparison to fire trucks and ambulances, they're a lot bigger, and you can definitely see it coming down the road. So we found that it's a bigger issue for police officers, and so that would be where we're aiming for. But it's also an issue for the fire trucks and ambulances, and they all expressed great interest in our product.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Is that, you were talking about the technology with the radar detector, is that the same that changes the traffic lights?
Yes.
It's that same signal?
They operate off of a strobe light on the front of the vehicle that comes off of, not all of the vehicles, which is why we chose to stray away from that. Like Mr. Senko was saying, how you don't pick up all the ambulances, so we want to pick up all the ambulances.
Have you guys looked into any, as well as sound, the flashing technologies at all, just to see if you can pick up, because a lot of times the ambulance will be running down the road without sirens going.
Yeah, that's true. So when we did talk to the fire chief, he did also say that not every emergency vehicle, ambulance, or fire truck has that flashing strobe light. So again, it's that inconsistency. So we really need to find our middle ground and what is the most consistent, and if that's sound or not, we have some more testing to do.
Do you mean
the flashing? I'm talking about some lights on top.
On the
Yeah.
traffic lights?
Right.
Yeah,
Just
we're-
the standard
Right.
red flashing lights. I mean, I'm sure there's a way to do a photo cell to pick up those flashes.
Yes,
as
and
well.
we've been looking into that, but it's very expensive.
That's expensive versus the sound.
As much as I'm the electronics, automotive, communications, I love more hardware in the world. Fortunately, this is your uphill battle, because even adding 5 sets to every vehicle, to a vehicle is difficult. I'm super impressed by Waze and how Waze knows that there's a car pulled over on the right. Waze is telling me there's 2 potholes on 53. I encourage you guys to put Amber Alerts in your phone. I encourage you to try to do something more software than hardware, because as I think you'll be able to reach the mass market with software. Hardware, it's going to be tough. You try to sell something to the first car company. The problem there is that makes their car more expensive than their competitors. For them to adopt it, the what's in it for me part of this isn't quite there, because like you started, we're trying to help society, but people generally won't pay for that. But if you do this in software like an Amber Alert or incorporating into Waze somehow, whoever they're doing, I think that's the way to go. The fire department wants you to know they're coming. The problem with the cops don't even like Waze, because they're like, hey, you're telling people where we are, and they like to sneak up on people, kind of thing. So half the cops, if they're going on a call, they want you to get out of their way, but the other half don't want you to know they're there. So you've got you're in a quandary there.
Right. So yeah, when a vehicle is like on an emergency call and they turn on a set of lights, and then once it puts in drive, then that strobe light goes on so that they can reach the Opticom. So ideally, we would want to do something like that where it's only when emergencies occur.
Yeah.
Especially for the police officers.
No, I hear you, but putting this solution with hardware, as much as I love hardware, it's a tough sell. So it might be software, might be the way to go with it. And let the world report the potholes. Say, hey, there's an ambulance coming on Fairfield right now, and it'll propagate just like the tile propagates and the way it's doing it. That might be a way to go with this. It's the hardware. It's just, I sell in the automotive industry. Every nickel counts.
Yeah, we appreciate the input.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to sell it, Dave, as kind of like the Subarus or the car. What's the car now that you see all the commercials where you're backing up and it stops automatically?
Oh, sure.
What manufacturer's doing that? Everybody, I guess, is.
Yeah. Well, you got the what's in it for me there. It's keeping you safe.
Right.
And I think the thing is, you want to maybe to get this going, you want to legislate it. Much as I don't like big government, but like backup cameras. I mean, they say everyone has to have a backup camera because it's safe. So same kind of thing here. Get it going that way and legislate it in, because it's not really a safety feature of the car for you. It's for me.
For the ambulance.
Yeah.
You're saying.
Yeah, you're trying. Yeah. So it's a tough sell that way. So it's really not a safety feature. It definitely got a problem, and this should be dealt with. And I don't know how to do it. But I think you guys should tackle it.
Great. So I don't know if you guys want to spend a little bit of time, should we take an enrollment floor maybe? Does that work? Give some feedback, allocate finances, that kind of thing, remember what they asked for. And then you can let me know, you don't have to let them know personally, I can address that tomorrow. If you have to get away, but if you want to spend like 5 minutes just putting it together, and then one person can be a scribe and let me have that information, that would be great. Is that good? Is that
Sure.
okay? All right, thank you. Okay. You did a good job.
I know you guys are all awesome, but I mean,